have, that everybody has in sales, is getting enough.
Guess he's not good. What's up, Matt? Go ahead.
I just want to say I did the exact same thing when I was starting. I got like one good experience from texting and leaving a voicemail. And then I was like, oh, that's the way. I got to do it with everyone. I ended up just spending way too much time sending texts and leaving messages. And then I was almost giving them too much information that they just wanted to do it over text if they were interested.
Hmm.
So I went through probably a week where I did that. It worked probably once and then never worked again. So I kind of threw it away, went back to just dialing without texting messages and got a way better pickup rate, results when people answered. So yeah, I was just gonna say it's very I did that exact same thing. I thought if I did more texts, more messages, then I'd get more responses, but truthfully, you just need to dial and get them on the phone. So that was just my experience.
Yo, am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, thanks. So Matt, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Um, all I could say to everybody on here, if your issue is they're not picking up the phone, you're getting in your own way. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're thinking all of these things. You're thinking now, like they're at work. This isn't a good time to call them. They're too old. They're younger. Like you pretty much can look at your lead and your lead's telling you a story about their life. Nod your head or give me a thumbs up or one in the chat if when you look at your leads, you feel like you know them. I'm going to tell you guys what you are. You're 100% wrong with who you think they are. Okay? And the reason is we're just not taking enough action with calling the leads. So Bryce, great advice. All right, to Brayley, but I think everybody on here needs to take that advice. Stop thinking and just dial. Like, stop thinking that, oh, this 72-year-old, they must be taking their afternoon nap right now. So let me call them after dinner. Okay, Miss Cleo, since you know the future, does that make sense? Only thing you can control is your dials per hour. That's it. That's it. I don't give a shit what lead it is I'm calling, how many times I called them. Dude, I don't even track that stuff. Like, don't even track your how many, like, I dialed this much. Like, okay, how many contacts did you have? Because there's too many people out there making 300-400 dials with 10 contacts. I'm like, dude, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? It makes sense. So just blow them up. Nobody on here is getting people that tells them, hey, why are you calling me so much? Why are you dude, why you keep calling me? They're not texting you, yo, just leave, send me the info via text. Or leave, hey, why didn't you leave me a voicemail? None of them are doing that. When you know if you're dialing too much or if you're like pushing the line, dude, it's when you hear that. When you hear people start telling you, dude, why are you calling me so much? Like, why are you know what I mean? Like, what's up with this? Why do you keep calling me and hanging up? I'm at work right now. Can you leave me a message? But they don't send you that text or anything when you call them 2 or 3 times. They send you that text when you call them 16 times. You with me? So make it a problem. But a lot of us, we put these problems before they're even there. They don't exist. The client even thinking none of that. You're just, the average person gets about 6 spam calls a day. The average person gets 6. Do you guys think our clients are average as it pertains to the people who get calls or above average?
Above.
They're above average because they fill shit out. So you got to know that when you're calling people. You can't call them thinking, oh, they're just like me. No, they're not. They fill stuff out and get 18,000 calls a day. So right when you think you're bothering them, now what you guys don't get to go into people's houses and hear their phones ring all day. That was eye-opening for me. I'd go inside their house and then their phone would be ringing and they wouldn't even move. I'd be like, dude, you guys, like, y'all don't hear that? They're like, oh no, it just rings all the time. And I'm like, oh shit, that's why I had to door knock your ass, because you never picked up the phone. Yup. You know how many people I sold just by knocking on their door and they never picked up the phone? And I called them the exact same way we're teaching you to call them right now. So if they bought from me face to face and didn't pick up the phone, how much do you think you're going to have call them to get them to actually pick up the phone? Just give you some perspective there, because a lot of us, we're just not putting in enough effort. And it's not because we don't want to, it's because we think the effort's going to take our conversion to the other side, like to the not profitable side. Okay? I promise you, right when you start getting the goosebumps on your arms, right when your heart starts palpitating a little bit more, that's where the money is. The money's not in a safe voice message. The money's not in a safe text message. That's not where the money is. Everybody would be rich if texting and leaving voicemails were the way to financial freedom. The way to financial freedom is getting uncomfortable and understanding your market and calling them because you understand it. Not just because Bryce said call them 3 times in a row. No, because you understand that people get calls all day. You understand that. Does that make sense? But when you understand it, it's like, shit, I'm not calling people a lot. I'm doing what it takes. But if you don't know what it takes, then you perceive that you're calling people a lot and you're annoying. It takes what it takes. So I think this is a great dialogue right now, because some of y'all are expecting results and you have 2 presentations a day. You're not that good. I don't know who is. But let's get 20 people to pick up the phone. Okay? Out of those 20 people to pick up, let's present to 10 or 12. And then let's close 4 to 6. Can we do that? Who wants to do that? But it all starts with not giving a rip how many times you call people. You got to call these leads like they got your children. And all you got to do is get them to pick up and go, hey, do you got my kid? And they go, no. Okay, cool. You get that one out. Hey, you got my kid? No. All right, get that one out. Call them like they have something you want. And I promise you, the sales process will take care of itself after that. But if we ain't getting enough people to pick up, because just play the pickup game. Everybody just play the pickup game. And don't give a rip what happens after. You get 20 people to pick up today, call me and tell me you had a bad day. Tell me that, because you won't have one. But if you're so focused on closing and doing all that and making sure they're comfortable, you'll be the only one not comfortable. Okay? Your comfort is what matters the most. F the client. Okay? In the most respectful way. If my doctor isn't rested, do I want my doctor doing surgery on me? If my doctor is not, no. The doctor's the most important person before I come in there and do my chemotherapy. I need the doctor taking care of himself. You're the doctor. Take care of yourself. You with me? This is huge stuff, man. Big stuff. But great. I'm a back up, but great job today. All right. Y'all keep killing it.
Man, we can just call it right there. That's the game right there. Who else? So Brayley, I appreciate you stepping up and of course I got something that we can go through today, like super sales specific. But I hope that triggered something in somebody that's on the phones right now that's like, okay, we just helped Brayley with what, something that could be a massive breakthrough in her business. Somebody else has got to be feeling something similar. So who wants to go through like what their activity has been like on the phones, because we can clearly pinpoint some things just based off of that.
Hey Bryce, can I say something real quick?
Yep, you got it.
It goes back to the limiting belief factors, kind of like we were talking about. And I think every new agent, I still consider myself pretty new. I haven't been in a year, I think it's something that everybody figures out for themselves as long as they stick with it long enough. With the uncomfortability of calling people so many times in a row, and I just think that the quicker you guys get uncomfortable calling somebody 4 or 5 times in a row, even after they hang up on you, and then you call somebody 5, 6 times in a row, and then they finally pick up and start thanking you, like Jason was saying. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I get so much spam. And then when you actually start to hear that out the horse's mouth, it gets a
Yep.
lot easier to start actually, calling somebody 4 or 5 times in a row. And I just think everybody has to get to that point. And the faster you get to that point, the faster your pickup ratio will go up and the faster you'll be profitable.
I mean, there's only two things that are going to happen. You're either going to dial enough where you get to the breakthrough of like, ah, shit, dude, it actually doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like they actually don't care. Why was I so in my own way? Or you're going to blame the leads. Like those are like the two paths. You know what I mean? Or you know what? These leads don't work. This sucks. And then we might as well just throw in the towel. That's it. So you just got to decide which am I going to be? Am I going to call people enough to talk to enough people that, because you know what's going to happen along the way of finding that breakthrough is you're going to hear all the things that Dom said. Like when you're actually, you don't get one without the other. When you call enough people, you find like my client yesterday, like I dealt with all this BS my first couple hours in the morning. I call it BS, but it's just like just the normal stuff. And then Linda answered and she's like, "Oh yeah," she literally said this. Oh yeah, I remember I just filled out that form. I was just playing a game on my phone and I figured you would call at some point. Like literally word for word, that's what she said. I filled out that form and then I was playing a game on my phone. I figured you'd call. Boom, easiest sale I've ever had in my life. You know what I mean? But like 2 hours before that, I don't remember filling it out. I already got it taken care of. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it's either like you're not you can't get one without the other. When you're making enough calls, you're gonna find the Lindas that are playing a game on their phone ready for you to call them. But you're also gonna hear the Bob in Kansas that, why are you calling me so many times? You know what I mean? So we can it's just how it's gonna go. So you got to push through that. And when you get to that point and you realize, oh dude, when I just make enough calls, I find the Lindas. Who cares about what all the Bobs in Kansas that are pissed off? Like that doesn't like it's so out of sight, out of mind because I know there's more Lindas. Does that make sense? That's the game. And when you play the game, when you do enough work, you just have that realization and all this stuff that we're talking about, it's not even a conversation. You don't even care anymore.
I was going to say something to that, to all of this. Um, if you're calling people like you're supposed to, just like hammering them all day long, you're going to get people to call you back. So if you
Mhm.
know you're doing your job when, because if you call and call and call, and then they're gonna pick up their phone and actually call you back and go, who is this? Who you calling? Then I mean they're calling you back now. You know what I mean? I've had that plenty of times because I'm just like calling and calling, and they're gonna call me. The other thing too is if somebody just picks up the phone and was like, leave me alone, hang, or they just are rude to you, whatever, don't be afraid to just call them right back. I do it. I mean, I know they're on their phone. I know they're right by their phone. Even if they say something like that, which is not too much, but you're going to get it. But just call them right back. Hey, we just got disconnected. Sorry, this Jason over here with benefits. I mean, just go into your script and don't even like think. Don't let it bother you. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because what are they really going to do? These people aren't going to do anything. They're going to jump through the phone and come get you. So
But that's the game right there. Um, Anybody else want to go through their numbers
Thank you.
or have any questions about anything? All right, cool. So we will go through wrapping up the sale. That's our topic for the day. How to wrap up the sale. What to say to solidify it, right? Because what I noticed, especially when I first started with telesales, is um, just when you get the client approved, just kind of ending it, saying, "Okay, you're approved," and then jumping off the phone. That's probably the time where I had the most business falling off the books versus getting really solid with, okay, solidifying it, letting them know you're their guy for life, and then just making them feel really comfortable with what they just did. Does that make sense? And so it's two things. It's giving them all the information, but of what they just did, right? Because again, like telesales, they don't see you face to face. I used to just make the sale and be like, all right, cool, you're approved. Your policy will come in the mail. And just think about this, like they just bought something, right? So we want them to get something in their hands of like proof of what they just got. So what we send them is important, but also, and you ask, 50 different people that are selling at a high level, they all have a 50 different ways of doing this. So I'm just going to tell you what I do. Like this is how I wrap up the call. And just starting to implement something like this, is going to be very helpful for just retention and making people feel good about what they just did. So let me see. I think we put it in page. I'm going to pull up the handbook. I believe it's page 28. All right, cool. All right, so wrapping up the sale, what should you do as soon as you figure out the client's policy got approved? Okay. So Jason, I'm going to role play with you as if, I just finished your application and just got approved. All right, Jason. So congrats, application was just approved. So here's what's going to happen next. When we get off this call, I'm going to send you both a text and an email as a summary of what we applied for, just so you can have something in writing of what we just got set up. Okay. Your actual policy is going to come to you in the mail. It usually takes about 5 to 10 business days. So when you get it, let me know that you've received it. I'm always more than willing to jump on another call with you to just go over any questions that you have about it. And the other thing I recommend, Jason, is when you do get that, make a note inside the policy of all my info, my full name, phone number, everything like that. The most important part of my job, Jason, is making sure that on the day that this is needed, your family has somebody to contact to help make sure claim gets filed smoothly, check gets delivered, everything like that, right? Obviously, I'm always here for you if you have questions and anything changed, anything like that. But again, the whole point of this is making sure that when you die, your daughter gets a check. So just her knowing that I exist and I'm here to help her with that is the most important part of all of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I just am like I hammer on what we just did. Like when you die, your daughter's gonna get a check. That's what I'm here for. Does that make sense? Like, because we just got banking, they're talking about how much it costs, the coverage, blah blah. Like, I just make sure I finish by bringing it back to what the whole point of this is, and I feel like I set myself apart from a lot of other of these agents that just like make the sale and be like, all right, cool, like let me know if you need anything. Like I make it about the beneficiary, and when you die, the beneficiary needs to know who I am so I can make sure that they get a check in their hands. So for me, of course, I don't know. I'm not inside the client's minds, but what I noticed is when I started hammering on that piece right there, my retention went way up. You know what I mean? So just like just being really thorough with like, what the hell did we just do? When you die, your beneficiary gets a check. I'm the person to help them make sure they get that check. That's the whole point of all this. Forget about the waiting period, not waiting period, the price, like your daughter getting a check. That's the point. Does that make sense? So I just stay there for a second. I hammer on that. Um, and again, Jason, I'm your main point of contact for life. Always feel free to reach out if you ever need anything. And I'm always here to serve you. So do you have any questions about anything we just set up?
No, it sounds good.
Okay, cool. Do you feel good about what you just did?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. Well, again, I thank you. I do want to say thank you for trusting me enough to allow me to help you, and just know, like I said, that I'm always going to be here for you and your family. So I don't say thank you for buying from me. I say thank you for trusting me enough to allow me to help you, and just know that I'm always going to be here for you. And again, there's other things you can do. Some of you are probably thinking, well, what about referrals and all that? Like, totally. This is a great place to ask who else do you know may need something like that. But when it comes to just like wrapping up what we just did in terms of the sale, this is exactly what I say. Then I make sure I do what I just said. So I send them a text. And me personally, I send them a text and an email. Like I want some people are better with text, some people are better with emails. I want there to be zero confusion of finding the info of the policy they just set up. So this is exactly what I send them. I send them the carrier, the name of the plan, the type, and if it's whole life, I put permanent, level, and immediate. If it's like an immediate plan, how much coverage, what the monthly payment is, the draft date, and the policy number. Save the client in your phone. The last thing you want to do is sell somebody, have them call you back, and you go, "Hey, who's this?" Like, make sure you save your client in the phone. What I do is I also, because in the iPhone, there's the note section. So I not only save the client on my phone, but I put a note, Americo, 25,000, Kentucky, daughter is Erica as the beneficiary. So like if I'm not in front of my computer and Bob calls me to try to cancel, I go, "Hey, remember what we did? This is for, this is for Erica." You know what I mean? Like I can bring up the point of this when I'm out and about. So that's why I save their contact information and just the relevant stuff in my phone. Beneficiary, name of the policy, or what the policy was, the amount of coverage, stuff like that. Enroll them in Legacy Safeguard. So a lot of you probably don't know what Legacy Safeguard is, so I'm going to go over that real quick. Legacy Safeguard is a free membership that we enroll our clients in. You can really enroll anybody in it, but I enroll my clients in it. It's basically it does a lot of things. And I encourage you in this handbook where I'm on page 20 at right now, click on that, go through it, read more about what it is. But the way I explain what Legacy Safeguard is to clients is I say, first and foremost, it's like a full service final arrangement and funeral planning team. So basically, there's a team that's going to be on standby when you pass, where if your daughter or your beneficiary calls them, they'll get help with all the administrative and logistical side of handling the stuff when you die. So locating a funeral home, negotiating the rates, even filing the claim for the insurance, like all the immediate administrative stuff that's involved with somebody dying. There's a team that's on standby to help your daughter with that. It's like a concierge service to handle all that immediate stuff when you pass. So that's like kind of the first and foremost, that's what they do. But there's a lot of stuff that they can set up on Legacy Safeguard while they're still alive to make things easier on their family. So they give them access to local estate planning attorneys if they need to get a will and a trust set up. They can have like all of their final wishes saved into one secure place. They can have all their like passwords saved into one place. And, they can have like anything that they want to be remembered by kind of in a secure location. So really just a lot of things that like a family member may need or may make things like a lot of stuff that may make it tough when a family member dies of handling, finding what their passwords were to their bank account, figuring out do they want to be buried or cremated. A lot of stuff they can have just saved into one place. So ton of things they can set up on there and while they're still alive to make it easier on their family, but then a team that will help their family with, I call it all the logistical and administrative side of things. Funeral home arrangements, transportation, negotiating rates, filing claims for insurance. So if you haven't talked about it yet, that's a good time to talk about it wrapping up this sale. I usually bring it up like if I haven't brought it up earlier, last resort, I usually bring it up like after we submit the application and I'm like waiting on it to be approved. I tell them, "Hey, by the way, this is what this policy is going to come with." And I just kind of give them the whole breakdown. So then you want to obviously enroll them in that. So we have to manually enroll them from that website. And then obviously you update your CRM business tracker and then post your sale in Discord and WhatsApp. So this is a whole step-by-step on what to say and what to do from, okay, policy was approved to getting off the phone and finishing things up. Any questions about any of that? That good, huh? Okay, cool. Well, great seeing you guys. we'll call that a day. We'll keep it moving. Let me know if you need anything. We'll be back on live Zoom dials making it happen, and we'll be back on here for training tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.